Lake, Colorado, in what's called the Triangle, right in the middle of the big, high elevation Park County. At the beautiful mountains behind me, you can see all the way from Breckenridge to Buena Vista. So on this particular job, we're doing a driveway and we've got to get the elevation down to the level of the road. So we've got the big excavator on site, and we have a new gentleman named Reese who hopefully will join the company. He's a very, very good operator. You guys are going to enjoy watching him. If you're new with this or even been doing it a while, this guy's pretty good. So you're going to want to check this out. But we got culverts to deal with, a bunch of loads of road base, and we got to chip out quite a bit of rock. So you guys stay tuned. I think you'll enjoy this project.
Todd, where are we at and what are we doing today?
We are just outside where we store our equipment, and we are going to finish up this driveway.
How long is this driveway going to be?
About 100 feet.
So not too big.
100 feet, not super big. They just want access into the land, but you can see from the road to where we need to be is quite a difference in
Why is it so
elevation.
wide?
The driveway?
Yeah. Are they bringing a...
They wanted space to make sure that they can get big trucks to turn around, and
Okay, that makes sense.
if they have an RV or anything like that.
Fifth wheel sized?
Yeah. I mean, the minimum specs are 16 feet, so we're there up there. It's just the entrance we widened up a bit, make sure that they could fit.
It's pretty large.
Yeah.
Pretty large. day, another dollar.
Another day, another dollar. Maybe in my pocket, maybe not. They want this on the road, so I'm actually gonna pull up.
And just drop it like right there?
Well, I'm gonna come back. If some spills, that's fine.
Okay.
But let me get this out of the road.
Where are we, Phil?
We are in Fairplay, Colorado at the big quarry right in the middle of town. Everybody always wants to get into and see. I'm not going to tell you the company, but they got some material here. It's like a 100-year lease, and it's like miles by miles of old river stone that they mined for gold. And now they're turning it into gravel and whatnot. So, but they got some big boy machines in here. I mean, big machines.
And these piles are huge.
Yeah, that's class 5 road base. Everything behind us is class 6.
I mean, these piles are substantially larger in comparison to some other places.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is, as far as, I'm not even in the quarry. Like, they keep the road base right up in the front.
Oh, I see them running.
Yeah, there's conveyor belts.
Look at that, dude. That shit goes for miles.
Literal miles. There's conveyor belts that move material.
That's a crazy town, dude.
Yep. I mean, there's miles of conveyor belt that run. This butts all the way up against town.
This is the same quarry?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
You can see, watch, like, look out of this window to the left of me, and you'll see,
Yeah, I see that.
how far those stones go.
Mhm.
That's all the quarry.
That's crazy town, dude.
So my man Adam here, very good loader operator, and this, get a load of this, it's a 982.
Man, he's quick with that thing.
Yes, it's a 982 cat. It's a big machine. I don't know if you can see in the mirror. Oh jeez, I better put the brake on.
I'd hope. I got him in the mirror just a little bit.
It's one dump. One scoop out of that is 15, one heaping scoop is 15 tons. That's to give you perspective. I think that's well over $1 million machine.
I mean,
And they have 7 of them here.
Dude, this thing is crazy.
The tire width is as wide as a dining room table. It's over one wheel's over.
I mean,
3
it's
feet
almost
wide.
the tire height is almost as
Thanks, Adam.
tire height's almost as tall as a dump.
Yep. It's a massive machine.
Read and weep, Aaron Witt. We're coming for you.
But you don't have perspective because the place is so big.
I know. If you'd put a person next to it, I bet you. And off he goes back to work.
Yeah. Well, most of the trucks load back there. So they serve 170 like semi trucks. So like 32 to 35 ton trucks. 170 per day out of here, and they haul to Denver, Colorado Springs, in between for concrete plants. I mean, this feeds the interstate systems in the whole Midwest, this aggregate. It's insane.
Holy smokes.
170 loads per day. So when I'm their number one non-big national contract, and I do like nothing compared to them.
I was going to say. You're like a little...
But they like me because, like, on days where maybe there's a little bit of weather and the trucks can't make it up from Denver or Colorado Springs, then I'm the only one coming in. So I, at least on those days, pay for the diesel and pay for, people to come to work. But yeah,
awesome.
by the way, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but this is a absolutely fantastic company.
I mean, look at the entrance. It's so professional looking.
This is not their only quarry. I mean, they're huge. So this company donated all of the material to Homes for Our Troops builds, to build homes for disabled veterans, 2 of them here in town. And we had over 1,000 tons of pressure fines that they gave Homes for Our Troops for free.
The fact that they were able to do that.
Listen, didn't even get a shout out or anything, but the owner of this company is the most solid guy, and obviously he's not poor.
Yeah.
He is I mean, he is cut from God's cloth. He is a amazing guy. So I'm not going to say the name of the company. A lot of people probably know who I'm talking about.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. 4665 Class 6 road base.
Look at the seat on that thing.
Oh, that's Tom. Thanks, I'll be back for one more. So when I bought my first dump truck, it was a Mack 610 or whatever, and it was 18 speed. I just got my CDL, and I went and bought it, and I drove it all the way from North Denver to my place in South Denver, and I did not know what the gray button on the side did. I looked everywhere on YouTube, etc. Hold on, I'm gonna have to redo that. Gotta focus. Alright. So I drove from North Denver all the way to the resting place of the truck. It was a long way, and I did not know how to use the gray button, the high-low, and I made it. And I don't know how, because I got home and I'm like, that just didn't seem right. I feel like I could go faster. And so I went home and I'm like, I really gotta figure this out, because there's not a lot of videos on YouTube of 18-speed Macks. It's all Eaton transmissions, which are similar, but they're not the same. And so it took me like a month to figure out, and then I realized it's supposed to have a shift chart on the dashboard, but the truck was so old it had peeled off. So I'm just, you know, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Luckily, at that point, I knew about double clutching, so I didn't drop the transmission on the highway. But yeah, it was crazy.
That's so funny. God, those mountains.
That wind blows so hard up here, it blows the tarp kind of to one side. It starts catching on stuff. Alright, so we got bags emptied. Alright, it's a little tricky. Nobody likes oh, where are they tracking that machine back to the lot? Alright, so we got the culvert in, got all that compacted in and around, and Reese, who's here. Reese, say hi.
What's up?
So Reese, tell us a little bit about what you focused on. You cleaned up the edges really, really nice. Tell us about your process a little bit.
Finish from the edges and just work yourself in. It's just like painting. You gotta start in one spot and chase your way out.
Like painting?
Yep.
I love it, that's a good analogy.
That's a good analogy.
That's great. So yeah, by smoothing this, you're really kind of capping and sealing it. Erosion's gonna be a lot slower, but you will have erosion from the snow melt up here. It just happens. So we've got one load of road base to pack in the culvert, and then we're at 3 for the driveway, and we need 1 more. So you're gonna get back to spreading it, making it look pretty, and I'll come bring you another load.
Yes, sir.
All right,
yes, sir.
brother.
16 feet's our goal.
Okay, we'll see you in a minute then.
Sweet. Thank you.
All right, let's giddy up.
All right, I'll see you when you get back.
Okay. All right, we're coming to the close, but let's watch him finish this out and make it look perfect. kind of finishing up here. Reese is just checking on grades, making sure that we have, because your eye can be off on this kind of a job the way it's leaning. We want to make sure everything's where it needs to be. Our grades aren't too steep, our slopes aren't too steep. Finishing packing in around the edges of the culverts, getting the lines nice and clean on the sides, and also 16 feet wide is what's a requirement here. So thanks for watching. You guys make sure, click subscribe, make a comment, tell us what you think, and we'll catch you on the next video.